The 52-story Treehouse. Chapter 6. Journey to the Castle. Well, that's just great, I say, looking at the remains of our flying fried egg car. How are we supposed to get to the castle now? Don't worry, says Terry. I've got just the thing. He reaches into his bag and pulls out a horse costume. How is that going to help us get into the castle, I say. Simple, says Terry. You put it on and I'll ride you there. Terry hands me the costume. Nuh-uh, I say, handing it back. How about you put it on and I ride you there? I've got a better idea, says Terry, passing the costume back to me. How about we take turns? Great idea, I say, and since you thought of it, you can go first. Thanks, Andy, says Terry, taking the costume. You're a real pal. He puts it on and we set off. What a lovely day for horse riding, I say. Is it your turn to be the horse yet? Says Terry. No, not yet, I say. How's the caterpillar? Says Terry. Good, I say. I think it's really enjoying the ride. I sure hope we don't come across anything that would be hazardous to caterpillars on our journey, says Terry. Me too, I say, as an enormous blackbird swoops down toward us. Are birds hazardous to caterpillars? Says Terry. Yes, I say. I reach out to put my hand over the caterpillar, but before I can cover it, the caterpillar rears up, opens its mouth, and swallows the bird in one gulp. What happened? Says Terry. Is the caterpillar okay? It's fine, I say, but that bird's not doing so well. The caterpillar just ate it. I never thought a caterpillar could eat a bird, says Terry. Neither did I say. It must be a bird-eating caterpillar. We continue along the road and come to a sharp bend. We hear a loud, rumbling noise. What do you think that is? Says Terry. I may be wrong, and I hope I am, I say. But it sounds like two steamrollers having a race. You're right, says Terry, as two steamrollers come speeding around the bend toward us. Start galloping, I say to Terry, as fast as you can. Terry looks around frantically. I can't gallop, he says. I'm not a real horse, you know. Then we're doomed, I say. If the first steamroller doesn't squash us flat, the second one will for sure. At that moment, the caterpillar jumps off Terry's head, leaps down onto the road, and starts inching its way toward the steamrollers. No, says Terry, putting his hooves over his eyes. I can't bear to look either. I turn away and prepare myself for the sound of a caterpillar being squashed by two speeding steamrollers. But instead I hear the sound of a caterpillar burping. I look up. The steamrollers are nowhere to be seen, and the caterpillar is licking its tiny little lips. I don't believe it, I say. It ate two speeding steamrollers. That caterpillar saved our lives, says Terry. That's weird, I say. I can smell rhinoceroses. Yeah, me too, says Terry. And I can see them. 3 big ones charging right at us. But before we even have time to panic, the caterpillar rears up and opens its mouth wide. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Wow, I've never seen a caterpillar eat 3 charging rhinoceroses before, says Terry. What about 4 wacky, waving, inflatable, arm-flailing 2-man, I say. Nope, I haven't seen that either, says Terry. Why do you ask? Because there's 4 of them blocking the road ahead. Cool, says Terry. I love those guys. So does the caterpillar, I say. Look at it go. Gulp, 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 gulp. Those poor, wacky, waving, inflatable, arm-flailing 2-men, says Terry. They didn't deserve to die like that. What about those 5 giant mutant spiders, I say. They definitely deserve to die like that, says Terry. Go, little caterpillar, go. Gulp, 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 gulp. It's lucky we brought the caterpillar with us, says Terry. This is the most dangerous road ever. There ought to be a warning sign. There is, I say. Look. We walk on. I'm tired, says Terry. Is it your turn to be the horse yet? Not yet, I say. Besides, we're almost there. Look. On the hill ahead of us is a castle. It's surrounded by a wall of asparagus spears. Gee, they've really gone with the vegetable theme, haven't they? Says Terry. That's because it's a vegetable castle, says an old wrinkled tomato sitting by the side of the road. A vegetable castle? I say. Yes, it sprouted a few days ago, says the tomato. It's part of Prince Potato's vegetable kingdom. Great, I say. We need a prince to wake our friend here from her enchanted sleep. Giddy up, Terry. Not so fast, says the tomato, blocking our way. You can't go up there. You shouldn't even be here. The castle and its surroundings are for vegetables only. Then what are you doing here, I say? You're not a vegetable. You're a fruit. I am so a vegetable, says the tomato. When was the last time you ate a tomato for dessert? You have fruit for dessert. Tomatoes are strictly main course. But you have seeds and you grow from the flowering part of a plant, says Terry, which technically makes you a fruit. You want to get technical? Says the tomato, growing quite red in the face. Well, let me tell you, buddy, that is no less authority than the United States Supreme Court has ruled that a tomato is a vegetable for the purposes of customs and regulations. So there. Okay, I say, trying to calm it down. If you say you're a vegetable, then you're a vegetable, even if you do have seeds. Don't talk to me about seeds, spits the tomato. Cucumbers have seeds, and you never hear anybody calling them a fruit. And peppers have hundreds of seeds, but nobody would mistake one for a fruit. And what about squash? Seeds. Seeds all the way through. And don't even get me started on rutabagas. What is a rutabaga? Whispers Terry. I don't know, I say, but I get the feeling we're about to find out. Terry sighs. We're never going to get to that castle. Shh, I say. Listen, I can't hear anything. That's my point, I say. The tomato has stopped talking. There's a reason for that, says Terry. The caterpillar just ate it. That's the first healthy choice it's made all day, I say. Chapter 7, The Vegetable Kingdom. We start climbing the hill towards the castle. Reminder, vegetables only past this point. We mean it. No fruit, no humans. Andy, am I a horse or a human? This means you, and especially no caterpillars. We ignore all the warning signs and continue climbing until we come to the wall of asparagus spears. It's thicker and higher than it looked from the bottom of the hill. There's no way we're going to get through that, says Terry. Not in a million years. Not in a trillion years. Not in a million, trillion, gazillion. Terry, I say. What? Come on, the caterpillar's eaten a hole through the wall. That was a lot quicker than I thought, says Terry. I must have made a mistake in my calculations. Let me just check where I went wrong. It doesn't matter, I say. Keep moving. We follow the caterpillar into the tunnel. We arrive at the end of the tunnel and peek out. It's horrible. There's a garden full of vegetables. We can't go out there, says Terry. We're not vegetables. Good point, I say. Do you have any vegetable disguises in your takeaway bag? Terry looks through his bag. I've got 3, he says. Perfect, I say. That's the exact amount we need. I choose a corn on the cob, give Terry the broccoli, and we put the carrot on Jill. As we enter the garden, a trumpet sounds and we see a group of official-looking vegetables making their way toward us. All hail Prince Potato, says a bugle-blowing eggplant. That must be him. That's Prince Potato, says Terry, pointing to a large potato wearing a small golden crown. But he's not very handsome. No, I say. He's pretty good-looking for a potato, though. Oh my, says the prince, stopping next to us. Do my 10 eyes deceive me, or is this a princess in a glass coffin I see before me? No, says Terry. Jill's not a... I stamp on Terry's foot to shut him up. Yes, your highness, I say quickly. She is indeed a princess, but she is under a terrible spell, and only the kiss of a handsome prince will wake her. "Oh, how beautiful she is," says the prince. "Her skin is more orange than the sun, her hair greener than grass, and her face sweeter than the sweetest pea of summer. I must kiss her immediately and marry her before the day is through." Andy," whispers Terry, "I don't think Jill's going to want to marry a potato." "Shh," I say, "we'll worry about that later, after he's woken her up." Prince Potato leans down and kisses Jill, quite loudly. Jill blinks, opens her eyes, looks up at the prince, and screams, also quite loudly. The prince, startled, falls backwards and lies on the ground, his arms and legs wiggling helplessly. Jill stands up and looks down at him. "Did you just kiss me?" she says. "Yes, my fair carrot princess," he says. "I woke you from your enchanted slumber, and now we can marry and live happily ever after." "I don't know who you are or what you're talking about," says Jill, "but I do know that I'm not a carrot, or a princess for that matter." She starts tugging at the top of her carrot costume. "And what is this stupid thing on my head?" "No," I say, lunging at her, towards her, but it's too late. She pulls off her carrot head and the vegetables scream. "That princess is no carrot," shouts an eggplant. "She's a human being." "See, it's her," says the prince. "Uh-oh," I say, grabbing Jill's hand. "We better get out of here. Come with us." "What's going on?" says Jill. "Who are you?" "It's me, Andy, and that piece of broccoli is Terry." "Hi, Jill," says Terry. "Is this a dream?" says Jill. "Not really," I say. "It's more like a nightmare. I'll explain later." "Run!" We try to head back through the tunnel, but the entrance is blocked by a big, ugly pumpkin. We turn back and are bombarded by a brutal battalion of Brussels sprouts. We run across the courtyard to a set of stairs, only to be repelled by a reeking gang of ginger, garlic, and onions. We are trying to decide where to run next when millions of mushrooms emerge out of the ground and surround us. "Take those villainous vegetable impersonators to the dungeon," says the prince. "I'll deal with them later." The mushrooms ties us up and drags us down a long, cold corridor, open a heavily reinforced celery door, and throws us into a small, dark dungeon. "Well, that all worked out pretty well," says Terry. "How do you figure that?" "How do you figure that?" I say. "Well, Jill's awake now," he says. "That's what we came here for, isn't it?" "Yes," I say, "that was part of it. But we also wanted her to talk to the caterpillar so we could find out what happened to Mr. Big Nose." "You don't need a caterpillar for that," booms a familiar voice. "I can tell you that myself. I'm right here."